Boruto, episode 55, The Scientific Ninja Tool. So this episode, I would say I enjoyed a lot more than the last one, which was pretty much just, taken straight from the movie, except for like one scene where they had some other characters in or changed a little bit. This episode, I would say, was kind of the exact opposite. They definitely had more movie content in there. The stuff with Killer Bee was definitely in the movie, but they added to that by having the third character show up. The stuff that they did before they went to Killer Bee, where like all the stuff they had before Killer Bee showed up with the villains, all that was new content. Like at least as far as I'm concerned, I don't remember them being on that other planet or in that other dimension, like the Red Temple area in general. In the film, they certainly didn't have the third villain, so I'm pretty sure all of that, like that whole scene, was new. Them talking about like, oh, this scroll is dead too, or something like that. So I thought that was cool. I thought they did a really good job explaining kind of the process of what happened with Kaguya. I thought that was pretty cool because one of the big things with the movie was I had no idea where these characters came from. Like, even in the movie, I was never 100% sure if they were like from another dimension or exactly what the deal was. Because I was like, well, I know Kaguya could do that, but is that where these people came from? Like, what's going on here? What's going on there? Some stuff I think I just obviously missed, like the part where Sasuke was fighting them in like the snowy area. I just thought that was on Earth. I didn't know that that was another dimension when I like first saw the movie. I just assumed like that's where they were, and so I was just like, where have these people been this whole time? And like I didn't get that they were from somewhere else, or like coming from another dimension or coming from space, because they kind of like jump through dimensions and then they're like sometimes just in space, like when the third character was on the moon and stuff. So it's like they're just hopping through dimensions, but they're also going like to space and to the planets from the different dimensions. So I thought they did a good job explaining that, talking about like, oh, which is stuff that they said in the original series, but I thought they did it in a cool way where the villains were realizing like, oh, this is why humans have jutsu, because Kaguya must have fallen in love, and she instead of like planting the tree here and giving us the jutsu that we were supposed to have, she basically gave it to these people. She created living weapons. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool way to look at it, from their perspective. Whereas like, she made these living weapons because she feared our existence and us coming after her because she didn't do her job. And I was like, well, that's kind of a cool way to retell that story, because it's kind of what we got before. Plus, kind of some of the added bonus of that's partly why she did it, where it was like, oh, I fell in love here, but also if I kind of got busted, might need you guys to, have some strength here and there too to fight back. So I thought that was a cool way to kind of explain, kind of a little bit of what we already knew with Kaguya. We got to know a little bit more about the third character, like his personality at least. He's like the funny one out of the three. So we have the serious character, then we have like the big brute character, and then of course you have the funny guy. So they have the three personalities there. Looking forward to seeing them fight, especially the third character, because he doesn't exist. So I want to see how his fighting style goes. He has like, it seems it's kind of like a spear. It's almost like a bow staff, but it's pointed at the end. Plus they're like laser weapons, so I don't, who knows exactly how that's gonna play out during the actual fight sequences. But I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, it gives a little glimpse into how he may or may not fight compared to the other two. We get to see the fight with Killer Bee and how the main villain, who I suck at names, so I can't remember any of their names, but the main villain out of the three is able to absorb jutsu and then kind of compound it and then shoot it back at people. So that was like his big thing in the movie too. So they bring that back, and that plays a huge part in like the final, like the big climax. So that'll be pretty cool. And they got some cool stuff. They did a good job with that story wise. So I'm looking forward to how they kind of expand upon that. But one of the other things I enjoyed was the fact that this wasn't like the last episode where everything seemed like it was, ripped straight from the movie. Definitely had those scenes, the Killer Bee stuff, which once again they added to with the whole explanation afterwards. They didn't do like any of that between the two characters. They just went, that happened, and then they jumped to something else. So they had that big explanation. And then, of course, seeing all the other characters who don't even really exist in the movie. So we get to see Medley, Denki, and Iwabe training, and Sada goes to them. Sumidi and the other two girls who I can never freaking remember. We see them. We see the Inoshika Cho trio training with Tamari, which I thought was probably my favorite one, because they were actually training with one of the older characters. So that I thought was really cool. We get to see Gaara in this episode, and we get to see Kankuro. I love his modern outfit. I think he's honestly dressed like a straight up ninja. Like, he reminds me of I think it's Ayane from Ninja Gaiden like 2, or maybe even the first. I think that's just her outfit in general. She has like almost that exact outfit, except it's purple instead of red. So I was like, that's cool. He's dressed like straight up ninja this time, instead of having like, he doesn't have the scrolls on him or anything like that. So I was like, well, that's definitely cool just to see that outfit. And it's been a minute because I don't read the manga, but I always like that outfit, so I thought that was cool. But we get to see the new team. We get to see Gaara's son, which they introduced. I didn't think they were actually going to show his son in the episode because they have Tamari say like, oh, he adopted a boy, and I met him for the first time recently, and I was like, okay, so they're kind of just teasing it, and we'll see it a little bit later because in the movie, where I guess I should say in the manga, because in the movie they don't focus on them, but in the manga they actually do go on the train all at the same time, so they're changing that up a little bit. Whereas like, you guys go ahead, and I should get there by the time round two starts. If I remember right, at least. I could be wrong because it's been a minute, but I thought they all showed up at the exact same time. But we get to see Shinki is his name, so that was cool. Just from the promo itself, we're gonna see a lot more of the chunin exams, which is, like I said, that was pretty much everything that I'd been hoping for. I was like, if we're gonna go through this stuff, they're adding in the third villain, they have to add in more of the fights and more of the chunin exam. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But it was a decent episode. I thought they did a good job adding new content, which is kind of what I wanted, because I'm like, we're going through movie stuff. Let's just have it go through. Let's add some new content, new context to some of these moments. And they did a really good job with that, with basically the main story of the movie, which is Boruto, him having the scientific ninja tool. What he did in this episode is not in the movie, where he doesn't use, unless I'm really forgetting this, I don't ever remember him having a moment where he was like, oh, I'm not going to use it. And he like practiced, to throw it the first time. And that may have been in there. And I could be wrong. That's totally a possibility, but I thought that was good. I couldn't remember it, so that's why it was good to me. But that may have been in the movie. I just don't remember it being there because I felt like, the movie was kind of kicking it up. And that was the whole point. Like, as soon as he got the ninja tool, it was like, all right, I'm using the ninja tool. And that was pretty much it. It was just like automatic. But I liked it. And like I said, that could have been in the movie, and I just really don't remember. But I don't remember that being in the movie. So for me, I thought it was new content, but I could be wrong. So I enjoyed it. Could just be because I'm dumb and I just can't remember, watching the movie from years ago. But thought that was a cool moment. It's like, okay, so he was kind of actually training, and then it was like, well, crap, now I'm supposed to do like this second level of it where Sasuke just does it, he throws two shuriken and it reflects over. And then he's like, well, crap, I can't pull that off super fast. So he goes back to using the ninja tool, and I was like, all right, it was actually a little bit of development, which I'm pretty sure was not in the movie. It was just the whole development was him using the ninja tool. So with them having like the new background and all that stuff, there's that idea that he, for a minute, does decide, I won't use it. I'll just train, and he does. But then like that second stage is like, I can't get there that fast. So then he goes back to the tool. So I like how that played out. Looking forward to the next episode for sure, because we're getting the chunin exams. They're doing the first part, like where they show Sai with the little clock. That's the very first test. So we're getting that in the next episode. They seem to be going to a secondary test that didn't even exist in the movie, where they show the kids like running through trees and stuff. Whatever that is brand new. Like the weird robot things, all that stuff is brand new. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think after that is when they're going to go back to the movie stuff, because it starts to condense to team versus team stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And then of course, just like the original training exams, it goes from the team-based stuff, like the questions, and then whatever this new thing is, down to the individual stuff, where it's like, all right, well, now these people are going to fight to become chunin, or, whether they win or lose, it just depends on how it plays out. But looking forward to that. I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed this, because I was like, oh, wow, there's, a lot of good, new content. We get to see what the other characters are doing. Pretty much everybody was everyone was training to be like, man, let's beat, Boruto and Sadara. And I was like, I feel like they shouldn't be doing that. That was like the one thing I didn't like about the episode, where I was like, everybody's training to be like, oh, so you want to lose to those guys. I was like, I know they've done some stuff, like especially when they were in the Land of Mist, but they didn't really do that much. Like outside, I mean, they've like, everybody's had fairly decent moments. I was like, they had like that one mission where Sadara fought the woman and used a Sharingan, and Boruto fought the one dude. But other than that, they, Boruto had his thing, and then Mitsuki was there, sure. But, Shikadai had his moment recently, and then some of the other members we've had, the stuff with Chocho and then Sadara herself. So it's like, I get it, because they're like the main characters and stuff, but I was like, I feel like it's been fairly balanced. Like, I feel like everyone's done a decent job doing something special. Like a couple of the other characters have dealt with some serious moments and kind of made it out. So I was like, I don't know why everybody's like just losing it. Like you guys want to lose to Boruto and Sadara. I was like, I feel like even with them being the main characters, they've had like two truly insanely epic moments. And other than that, it's just been like, I mean, yeah, they've done some stuff, but everybody's done some stuff. Like everybody was fighting during the Land of Mist mission. So I don't know. I thought that was like the one thing I thought was weird. Like everyone seemed like they were just like right at the top. I was like, they haven't really, they've had some moments individually, but especially like as a team, I felt like they hadn't done like super crazy stuff that everyone else would be like, crap, that's like the number one team. I feel like they hadn't done that. So maybe it's just me kind of putting them down just a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Um, but I don't know. I just didn't get it. I was like, why is everybody trying to go after them? Like they aren't that epic. I felt, at this point in time, I didn't feel like they'd done anything yet to get that status where every other team is like, well, this is this person's weakness. Like Sumari was going through everybody's weakness and stuff, and they had Metal Yubi, and Denki. I'm just like, I don't really get why everybody's losing it over this new Team 7, but that was the whole thing of them training and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm sure they have nothing to worry about. They got to worry about some of the new characters we haven't seen yet. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this episode. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. Naturally, we're going forward, blending in some old stuff with the new stuff. They seem like they kicked up the animation as well for like this entire episode, because most of it being new content. I was trying to see, I was like, is it just because the whole episode just seemed insanely bright to me? Maybe it was my settings, but for some reason the whole episode just looked really bright, and I was like, I feel like that kind of washes out some of the crappier animation when everything's just like really vibrant. I was like, I can't tell if this just looks really good or if it just looks really, really bright. So maybe it's just like a tiny bit better. Some scenes were definitely from the movie. When Boruto and Sadaru were talking, and you could totally tell because they were scrolling past the people. I was like, that is straight from the movie, because the animation on those side characters, it was like some girl was pointing or something. I was like, that animation is way too in depth for them to have just done that for that 1 second. I was like, that was ripped straight from the movie, because you don't put that much dedication into the side characters when you're scrolling across. And I was like, that was straight from the movie, because that looked way too good. I know they didn't just do that for this episode. So some scenes definitely were still from the movie, but I felt like they upped the ante on the new content as well, where it's like, okay, I can kind of tell, but at the same time, it's definitely, they're at least upping it a little bit, just enough to kind of match the movie scenes that they're just straight ripping from the actual film. So looks better, but back and forth throughout the episode, I could tell some parts, but none of it looked like bad. I feel like so far they were just like, we have to do a permanent upgrade, at least for this arc, and then it'll probably dip back a little bit when it's like we have no more old content to steal. It's all brand new, and then it's just like, all right, let's just notch it, dial it back slowly but surely, and then it's like, okay, they don't have anything to match up to, so now they can take it back down to medium. But still a decent episode. Like I said, want to know what you guys thought about it. With us going forward, I just want to know what you guys want to see. What new content you guys want to see. I feel like I asked this before, but there's so little to ask, because with me at least, I know what's going to happen as far as the main story goes. So for those of you who don't know what's going to happen, I would love to know what you guys expect to see, what predictions you guys have for the chunin exam, who's going to make it through, who's not going to make it through. For everyone who has seen the movie or read through the manga, what new stuff do you guys want to see? Because I don't know what new content was added in the manga that isn't in the anime, so it's all going to be new to me, because I haven't gone back to read the manga yet, and I'm still in the very beginning with the movie arc stuff. So I don't know what content is new. I don't believe whatever we saw with the robots and stuff is in the manga, because I think I'm at the first little weird flag tournament thing that they have. So I don't think they added like the forest stuff in the manga, unless they like rearranged it for the anime. But still looking forward to it either way. Like I said, I want to know what you guys are looking forward to or predicting or anything like that. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.